Don't forget that the only reason NXT has a show called New Year's Evil is because there's a date in the calendar that is called New Year's Eve. So someone just went, I know what we can do. I love wrestling. Also, hello, my friends, and Happy New Year. It's probably the last time we'll say that because it does get run into the ground. But we did have one of these super special NXTs. It's not quite a pay-per-view premium live event, but they still try and go big time. So was it any good or did it absolutely suck? Well, I don't know. You don't know. The only thing that knows is the finger of power. And if you think that's dumb, welcome to life. Let's up those doubts. We made sure we kicked things off with a bang too, because it was Lyra Valkyria defending her NXT Women's title against Blair Davenport. No need for the trumpet. I mean, we literally knew this. Now, given that Blair clearly has an upcoming feud with Nikita Lyons, it felt like a long shot that Lyra was going to lose her championship here. But I tell you how they got around this. Clearly backstage they had gone, what do you want to do tonight? And somebody else said, let's just try and kill each other. The other person went, great. Davenport also hit this crazy avalanche falcon arrow, which meant Lyra had to roll out of the ring because she's a smart tamale. This is when Blair was like, well, you're in trouble now. And she ran at her, and she was going to knee her head into Al in the announce table. But thankfully, in 2024, Al was like, I am sick and tired of being abused. Well, kinda, because Valkyria got out of the way, and Alan still got absolutely murked by this knee. And in fact, Davenport's bone went through the damn thing. I mean, the Blair Davenport's leg was totally screwed, so she couldn't do a suplex. When she went for a crossbody, she totally missed. And don't forget, that was the ultimate comeback move of 2023. So what maneuver will come back in 2024? I am hoping for the atomic drop. I just said a crossbody, but actually it was probably Blair Davenport going for her stomp because she did miss. She injured her leg once again, so Valkyria was like, well, you're toast now. So she picked her up and she did that tilt-a-word slam thingamajig, and she got the 1, 2, 3. So there you go. It's only the 2nd of January. She's on a tear. There was instant shenanigans too as Lola Vice all of a sudden run to the ring because she has that contract that acts like Money in the Bank. I suppose she was going to cash it in, even though that's not right verbiage, when Tatum Paxi was here and she attacked Lola, so that ain't happening. Elektra Lopez also joined in, so I'm sure we're going to do some kind of tag team match here, but I actually thought the match was pretty good. Give it up. The whole card started to then go crazy because we were told, I'm sorry, I know you tuned in for that big world title match for the men later on, but Ilya Dragunov has not been cleared, so it's cancelled. It's like, what the flub is going on? We also got to confirm that Dragon Lee isn't going to be the show because of visa issues. So I went and sat in the corner and I cried because I take wrestling very seriously. It did, however, mean that we did get some proper superstar power on this show because who was Mr. Lee's replacement? It was none other than Flubbin' Carlito. This also meant it was Drew Gulak, Damon Kemp, and Miles Bourne taking on Mr. Caribbean called Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro. And look, this was a very fun match. I don't even care, man. There is only one thing I am going to talk about. For you see, at one point, Wilde went to the outside and his buddies joined him. And when he went to do a springboard, they basically pulled the ropes like they were a catapult, and this man actually flew. You got to go see it. Why are you watching me right now, you absolute idiot? You need to just go and find this clip, and you will watch it 72,987 times, and each time will go, what the hell is this? I mean, he probably ended up halfway up the aisleway, and this actually fights back against all that negativity of people go, oh man, dives are so stupid because people are just waiting to catch someone. Now that is accurate to a certain point, but not here. They probably thought they were safe. They were totally wrong. Carlito then got the hot tag, which felt a little bit unfair because surely that last move should have been the end of anything. But Kemp didn't really care about this, and he started fighting back. He kind of screwed himself over though because he didn't think that Del Toro had made the blind tag, and that's when Carlito hit him with the backstabber. Del Toro hit a very good looking Phoenix splash, and they got the 1, 2, 3, just like that, LWO. I think Carl also spat his apple into Drew Gulak's face afterwards, so yes, we are still doing that. Some people were worried that we weren't going to. Once again, this was just entertaining. But if we could get Carlito back on SmackDown very soon, I'd appreciate it. I like him muchly. It really did feel like we were trying to treat New Year's Evil as big time as possible too, because do you know who then turned up? None other than flipping Grayson Waller. He interrupted a conversation between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, who of course were like, man, I can't believe I'm not going to get my championship match anymore. This sucks. It did. After some back and forth though, Grayson essentially said, hey Trick, why don't we face each other later and the winner will be the #1 contender? When of course it was Carmelo Hayes who said, that sounds really good. And Trick looked at him like, why do I even keep you around? You a bad friend. This is when NXT went NXT, because we then cut to Riley Osborne, who was sat in Chase U. and he was narrating this essay that he was scrolling down because, of course, he wants to win the men's NXT Breakout Tournament. I love stuff like this. It's so over the top, it's so silly, it makes me feel good in my Tootsie Toes. Before that, though, we had Ariana Grace versus Roxanne Perez. I'm just gonna tell you, this was nuts. Because most of the time, yes, Grace was just being her heel self, and at one point even grabbed Roxy's face and just smashed it into the mat over and over again. When the good guy fought back, she hit the pop rocks and she got the 1, 2, 3. Now look, up to this point, it was totally okay. I enjoyed both of their characters, especially Ariana Grace. But then we went crazy, and I didn't understand it at all. Because Roxanne didn't take kindly to how Grace was acting after this, and they kind of slapped each other, when Perez just whooped her ass and whooped her ass and whooped her ass. And when the referee separated them, for no reason, they just went, oh, sorry, Roxanne Perez, because you did that, you no longer win, and we're giving the W to Ariana Grace. What? And I get maybe suspending her or giving her a fine. But we have seen this happen in so many professional wrestling matches, and you don't overturn the decision. I was baffled. It kind of felt like we were teasing that Roxanne Perez may turn heel too, which we should not do. Somebody actually mentioned this on the internet, and I do get it. I kind of feel like NXT is just waiting to send Roxanne Perez up to the main roster, but in the meantime, they got to do something. But even still, this was absolute gibberish, and not in the good way. You could poke holes in it, so it's getting it down. But I want to make it very clear, it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter. And when it comes to two gimmicks or characters in wrestling, I like both of these people muchly. Blair Davenport and Nikita Lyons then did indeed fall out again backstage to make it clear we are going to go in that direction. When we just had something that was so damn good. Because it was Tiffany Stratton versus Fallon Henley, and the loser was either going to have to be a ranch hand or a servant for 24 hours. No! And I get why NXT has chosen to do this, because one, it does tie into things we've done in the past, but also it means we can just get it all done on one episode and then move forward. But I really wanted a solid month here. I think we could have had a lot of fun with it. Still though, NXT did surprise me, because I was convinced that Tiffany Stratton was gonna win, but shows what I know about sports entertainment. She didn't, and she lost. Ooh la lally. They were probably going for it as well, and again, these two also have all the potential in the world, so if they do get put on Raw or SmackDown, they'll absolutely smash it. When Tiffany just went, you know what, I ain't being paid by the hour, I'm gonna go get a steel chair. And the referee was like, man, you can't do this. Why are you making my job so hard? So he tried to stop Stratton, and by this point, Tiffany had totally forgotten that she was in a wrestling match. She turned around, Henley smacked her right in the skull with the knee, and she pinned her. I was genuinely stunned. It also, of course, means that Tiffany Stratton now has to be a farmhand. And listen to these words I have just said to you. There is no way that's not gonna be entertaining, and she will have a meltdown, so I am gonna get an up. Yes, these two are very, very good. I'm excited about what they do next. When we took another right turn, and I thought we were going to go left, because Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin did bump into each other backstage. And obviously recently, Corbin is keeping an eye on Braun, and I thought maybe we're going to go back to that feud, or they were going to have a fight. Which doesn't really make any sense anymore, because they are both heels, and also, we've seen it. It was all a ruse though, because instead, Baron Corbin was like, hey Mr. Breaker, there's a Dusty Classic Tag Team Tournament coming up. Why don't you and I come together and go and win the damn thing? Braun, after a little bit of convincing, was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Now I'm sure we will play the whole can they coexist story, but this is one of those things I didn't know that I need until I got it. Honestly, they could actually be quite dominant, so I hope we go all in with this. Color me excited. Quick video with Femi here, and I tell you, this guy is absolutely gonna kill it when he gets the chance. When, of course, Gigi Dolan and Cora Jade also fell out in the women's locker room, which is getting like the NXT parking lot, over a locker. I love it so damn much. It's like watching Saved by the Bell, but I do not care. People love moaning about this, and I say to them, don't you take away my goofy wrestling stories. And it turned out that NXT is getting super committed to this Ridge Holland story too, because he was doing a sit-down interview. Now he straight up mentioned how bad he feels about Ilya Dragunov and the fact that he has injured him, and that throughout his WWE career, he's also hurt a lot of other people. Sheesh. He did tie it in though, because after he returned from knee surgery, he got smashed in the face and he was taken out once again. So really, when you take a step back and look at it, this is just professional wrestling, and shit happens. So now what he wants to do is run through the entire roster to prove that he still does have what it takes. So I guess that Ridge isn't going back to SmackDown, and if I was going to make a guess, in a few weeks he's going to turn around and go, ha ha, I was kidding you all, I love hurting people, and I'm going to smash you all up. I do need to see how this one plays out, because it feels a little bit too close to the bone, which was not meant to be a pun, but look, as long as everybody involved is cool with this, then again, I'm happy to wait and see. My word, is it a little bit jubbly-wobbly. Riley Osborne then high-fived Thea Hale before he went to the ring for his final match in the NXT Breakout Tournament. And Thea was the happiest person ever. Another reason why I love NXT. So yeah, it was Oba Femi taking on Riley Osborne. And once again, I thought this was pretty good. And the main reason for this, as much as I do like Riley, is Femi. This dude is just a man monster, and Shawn Michaels must have just gone, well, let's book him like a man monster, so he runs through people, and holy crap is he intimidating. Now Osborne was doing well for a little bit here, and he went for his shooting star press, but seriously, you gotta see it, because Oba gets his knees up, and he grabbed this man, and I would call it a suplex. That doesn't seem fair. He just hurled him across the ring. It's like a car wreck. He then hit him with this crazy bomb of power, and he didn't even break a sweat when he got the 1, 2, 3. And you've also got to go see the interview he did for social media. That was good too. The man just has something. Push him to the moon. The main message he wanted to get out there too is you don't mess with him. So yeah, there is definitely potential for both guys, but I'm very happy we went in this direction for the damn NXT Men's Breakout Tournament. So I am going to give it an up, because remember, when these things do go down, you have to take everything into account. They're brand new, and they were able to put on a very passable wrestling match. Good for them. Out of the Mud then told the D'Angelo family that they absolutely suck, so I think we're going to do that tag team title match next week, when Izzy Dame and Kiana James were here doing an interview, and they were essentially like, we don't like anyone, and we want to win a lot of matches. Good. We also continue to underline the fact that Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes do not get on, because Trick told Carmelo, I've got to do this by myself later, man. You could see this coming a mile away. Hayes kind of agreed, but look into his eyes, he didn't mean a word of it. When JC Jane stepped up. Look at that. Because of course right now Chase U is having major issues because of Andre Chase. So when he was talking to Duke Hudson saying, oh my gosh, we're going to enter the Dusty Classic, JC was like, no, you're not. We're pushing you to one side. You cannot handle doing two things at once. So now I'm in charge. Damn right. It means that Riley Osborne is now going to team with Duke. And honestly, Jane was so fired up here. Once again, I just love this mad story. And it does make me want to one day go to Chase U. I don't actually think that's possible, but I dare to dream. Tay and Paxi then continue to be really weird around Lyra Valkyria, so obviously that's going to go somewhere at some point. When we got another tag team in the Dusty Classic, there was Axiom and Nathan Frazier. That makes sense. They're the best of friends. As usual though, Frazier started to run his mouth. He didn't realise that right behind him was Malik Blade and Edris Enofe, because he basically said bad things about them. Next week, they're gonna have a match. Tony D and Stacks were then here. They just walked out of a random door and said, OTM, we will take you on. When finally, it's been weeks now, they introduced us to this mysterious lady they've been hanging out with. Her name is Adriana Rizzo, and that's all I can really tell you, because Joe Gacy then popped out the trunk of their car. Everybody looked at Joe like, man, why are you so strange? And that is his whole gimmick at the moment. He does really weird things. Nobody in management seems to care. When, yes, indeed, we did get our main event for the #1 contendership, which was Grayson Waller versus Trick Williams. And I presume the Ilya Dragunov stuff is just a work, or maybe he's got visa issues or something too. I don't know, but I hope he is okay. A little bit perplexed by it. As it turned out, though, NXT was going to pull out all the stops to make sure we did balance the books, because you were never going to guess who turned up here. And the best thing about this is, of course, Grayson Waller is already a main roster guy, and he's just so good. But Trick Williams held his own, so if you want to call him up to a Raw or SmackDown, he's going to fly as well. So right now, you can't argue it. The NXT system is working very well. Given that Grayson has already been called up too, this did make me go, huh, I wonder who is going to win here. So when we did get into the 1-2 oohs, I couldn't pick them. I was kind of freaking out. And I wasn't, I said it for effect. Obviously though, as soon as Trick Williams did have the upper hand and he was rocking and rolling, Carmelo Hayes just ran out and got on the apron. I'm sorry, this was so damn obvious. I can see what you're trying to do, Carmelo, and you need to stop it. This triggered a massive argument though, which Grayson thought was great, even though he was on the outside of the ring, when he turned around. And like I say, of all the people who had made the trip to the Performance Center, it was Kevin Owens. He does hate Grayson Waller, and he punched him right in the mouth. Somehow Trick knew this was the time to stop arguing with Hayes as well, so he turned around. He kneed Grayson Waller right in the face, and he pinned him for the 1-2-3. And again, because he is on SmackDown, that felt like a big deal. And of course, Trick Williams, still the #1 contender. So with that appearance and the fact that the match was really good, I am going to give it an up. But look, I am a nerd deep down in my tum-tum. I'm actually quite disappointed we didn't get Ilya versus Trick. I was really looking forward to it. And I'm sure there will be a justifiable reason as well, but as a man who sat his ass down on a couch to watch it, it has to get it down. Again, these things just happen. Card is subject to change. That doesn't mean I can't be a sad panda about it. I am. Which brought us to the end of NXT, and I will say it's the best episode of 2024 so far. I'm gonna run that joke into the ground. So I shall give it an up, but make sure you click the video on the screen, which is ups and downs for Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know what your favorite thing about NXT was, and I will see you very soon. Happy New Year, my friends. Goodbye.